Nobody warned Oliver about the cat. When Sarah and James brought their newborn home for the first time, their tabby, a gray and white domestic shorthair named Milo, was already waiting. Not at the door, not on the couch, at the top of the stairs, sitting perfectly still, watching. He didn't hiss, didn't run, just looked at that tiny wrapped bundle in Sarah's arms with an expression that can only be described as deeply, personally offended. Like someone had rearranged his furniture without asking. Milo had been the only child for 4 years. 4 years of sleeping wherever he wanted, eating on his schedule, and receiving attention on his terms, which, to be fair, were very specific terms. He tolerated James. He occasionally acknowledged Sarah. He had strong opinions about everything, which blanket was acceptable, which side of the bed belonged to him, and which guests were permitted to exist in his presence for more than 20 minutes. He was not, by any stretch of imagination, what you would call a baby person. The first week, he kept his distance. He'd sit in the doorway of the nursery watching Oliver sleep, his tail flicking slowly. Not aggressive, not curious exactly, more like assessing. The way a manager watches a new hire on their first day, deciding whether this tiny, loud creature had earned the right to share his home. James joked that Milo was doing a background check. Sarah wasn't so sure Milo was joking. He'd settle into his spot in the doorway, never crossing the threshold, never getting closer, just watching with those steady gray-green eyes, tail wrapped neatly around his paws, like he was building a case, taking his time before reaching a verdict. But somewhere between that first suspicious stare and the morning of Oliver's 3rd week home, something shifted. Nobody saw it happen. Nobody could explain it. Just a quiet Tuesday morning when Sarah came downstairs and found Milo not in the doorway, but inside the nursery, sitting 3 feet from the crib, watching Oliver sleep from a new angle. Milo just decided. It started small. Milo began sleeping at the foot of Oliver's crib, not inside it, not dangerously close, just near, present, like a security guard who'd accepted a new post without being officially assigned. He'd be there when Sarah came for the 3 a.m. feeding. He'd be there at 6 a.m. when the first sounds of waking started, patient, still, unbothered. Then came the slow blinks. Every morning when Sarah would pick Oliver up, Milo would sit nearby and do it. That slow, deliberate blink that cat owners know means something. It means, I see you, you're okay, we're okay. Oliver, for his part, would stare back with those wide newborn eyes, completely fascinated, not reaching yet, not grabbing, just looking. 2 creatures studying each other across some invisible line, both deciding what the other one was. By week 6, Milo had a new routine. Breakfast, window check, Oliver check, in that order. Every single day. If Sarah moved Oliver to a different room, Milo would follow within minutes, not rushing, not anxious, just relocating, keeping the assignment in sight. And somewhere along the way, Oliver stopped being the intruder. He became the assignment. The moment everything became undeniable happened on a Tuesday afternoon 2 months in. Oliver had just learned to pull himself up, wobbly, determined, completely fearless in the way only babies can be, that beautiful confidence of someone who doesn't yet know what falling feels like. He spotted Milo on the couch, that gray and white body stretched across the cushions like he owned the place, which, in his mind, he absolutely did. Oliver grabbed the couch edge, pulled himself up, reached out one small, chubby hand, and grabbed a fistful of Milo's fur. Everyone in the room held their breath. Milo opened one eye, looked at the hand, looked at Oliver, and went back to sleep. No hiss, no swat, no dramatic exit. Just a cat who had, somewhere in the quiet weeks prior, made a decision and was now simply living by it. James laughed out loud. Sarah felt something loosen in her chest that she hadn't realized had been tight. Some connections don't make sense on paper. A grumpy 4-year-old cat and a grabby 10-month-old baby should not, by any reasonable logic, work. But here they were, coexisting, more than coexisting. From that afternoon on, Oliver's favorite place in the entire house was wherever Milo happened to be. And Milo, for reasons known only to him, stopped minding, stopped retreating, stopped keeping score. I can see you haven't subscribed yet, and honestly, that breaks my heart a little. Hit that subscribe button, because what happens next between these two is something you do not want to miss. Then came the night that changed how Sarah saw everything. Oliver was 11 months old. It was 2:47 in the morning when Sarah woke up, not to crying, but to silence. The kind of silence that feels wrong. Every parent knows it. That absence of sound that pulls you out of sleep faster than any alarm. She moved down the hall quickly, pushed open the nursery door. Oliver was sitting up in his crib, completely awake, not crying, just sitting there in the dark, calm in the way babies sometimes are when they've found something that makes them feel safe. And Milo was on the floor directly beside the crib, not sleeping, sitting upright, perfectly still, watching Oliver with calm, steady eyes. He looked like he had been there for a while, like he'd heard something Sarah hadn't, felt something shift and simply gotten up and gone where he was needed. He'd been there the whole time. Nobody had called him, nobody had asked. Sarah stood in the doorway for a long moment, not moving, not speaking, just watching the two of them in the dark. This cat who had spent 4 years keeping mostly to himself, sitting guard at 2:47 in the morning for a baby he had never asked for and somehow chosen anyway. Oliver looked at Milo. Milo looked at Oliver. Then Oliver laid back down, pulled his blanket up, and closed his eyes. Milo waited until his breathing steadied, that slow, even rhythm of a child falling back into deep sleep. Then, and only then, did he curl up on the floor, tuck his nose under his tail, and close his own eyes. Milo still has strong opinions about everything. The blanket situation has not been resolved. He still gives James a look every single morning that suggests deep professional disappointment. He still has feelings about which chair belongs to him and which guests have overstayed their welcome. But watch him when Oliver toddles into the room and something in those gray-green eyes goes quiet, soft, decided, like a question that got answered a long time ago and doesn't need revisiting. He didn't choose this job. Nobody hired him. Nobody gave him a title or a salary or even a formal thank you. He just looked at that tiny baby one day and thought, fine, I'll handle this one. And he has. Every single day since. Because some cats don't need to be asked. They just show up, quietly, stubbornly, completely, in doorways and beside cribs, and at 2:47 in the morning when nobody else heard a thing. Did Milo choose Oliver, or did Oliver choose Milo? Tell me in the comments. I genuinely want to know what you think.